House Tyrell in Game of Thrones is interesting, as while some of the members from the books do make it into the show, others do not. Namely, in the show, Mace Tyrell only has 2 children, Loras and Margaery, when in the book, he has 4, with Loras in fact being the 3rd son rather than the heir of Highgarden, as it seems to be in the show. In this video, I want to take a look at one of these lost children, Willas Tyrell, and see how the show managed to take some of his key functions of his character and give them to other people, meaning the purpose of his story is intact without the need for Willas to be in the show. Willas Tyrell is a member of House Tyrell and the eldest son of Lord Mace Tyrell and Lady Alicent Hightower. Being the eldest son, he is heir to Highgarden. Willas is crippled, with a bad leg, but in contrast, he is described as an intelligent and well-spoken man, studious, educated and kind, and is renowned for breeding the finest hawks, hounds and horses in the 7 kingdoms, with lords and rich men alike willing to pay eye-watering prices for his work. Willas is also described as being mild and courtly, fond of reading books and looking at the stars. Peter Baelish, Littlefinger, considers Willas to be gentle, pious and good-hearted, the kind of lord any lady would dream of, minus his crippled leg. But also, at least to Littlefinger, he is utterly boring. Willas was born between 273 and 276 AC, meaning he is in his early to mid-20s during the start of the main books in 298. When he was younger, during his first tourney, in which Willas entered as a squire, much to his father's wishes, he competed against Prince Oberyn Martell of Dorne, who knocked Willas from his horse. Unfortunately, Willas's foot caught in his stirrups as he fell, and he pulled his horse on top of him, crushing his leg and mangling the bone within. The bone never healed correctly, thus leaving him crippled. While he is able to walk, his injuries do make it difficult for him to do so. Though the incident which led to the injury of Willas poured oil on the flames of the considerable and historical enmity between House Tyrell and House Martell, it is said that Willas bore Oberyn no personal ill will. Willas had accepted that riding in the lists comes with risk of injury and death. He was unlucky that day, and while Oberyn knocked Willas from his horse, he had no control over his foot becoming stuck. The 2 men remained in correspondence with each other over the years, and by all accounts considered themselves friends. However, that factor did not do any good in dampening the anger of House Tyrell. Ever since his accident, Willas has occupied himself with scholarly studies, as he cannot be a knight, which was his first intent like many young lords of Westeros. Willas's grandmother, Olenna Tyrell, despite having a low opinion of her son Mace, has a high opinion of her grandson and his scholarly pursuits and the challenges he's had to face and overcome thanks to his crippled leg. His brother, Garland, was plump as a boy. To protect him from potential derogatory nicknames, such as given to his uncle Garth the Gross, Willas was the first to call him Garland the Gallant. When Willas's sister, Margaery, was a girl, he would often read to her and draw her pictures of stars. In all, it is said that Willas had a close relationship with all of his siblings. Princess Arianne Martell, the daughter of the Prince of Dorne and niece to Oberyn Martell, once considered marrying Willas, but her father, Prince Doran, refused to send her to Highgarden to meet him. Nevertheless, she tried to travel there on her own with the help of her cousin, Tyene Sand. But her uncle, Oberyn Martell, caught them at Vaith and brought them back to Sunspear. The first mention of Willas we have comes in the first book, A Game of Thrones, where in King's Landing, Willas Tyrell is ordered to swear fealty to the new King Joffrey Baratheon, along with his father, brothers and uncles. Later on, during the events of A Storm of Swords, in King's Landing, Lady Olenna Tyrell secretly plots to have Sansa Stark married to Willas, as a way to prevent Tywin Lannister using Sansa as a pawn and bargaining tool for his own uses. Sansa keenly and readily accepts the offer of betrothal, and is excited by the prospect of moving to Highgarden. In a way, Willas is the kind of lord husband that Sansa had dreamed of as a girl, in many regards, but the plot is foiled after she reveals this information to Dontos Hollard in the Godswood of the Red Keep. Lord Tywin Lannister learns of the plot from Peter Baelish, Littlefinger, and hastily marries Sansa to his own son, Tyrion, much to Lady Olenna's annoyance and Sansa's distress. Tywin offers his own daughter, Queen Regent Cersei Lannister, to be married to Willas instead, in order to quiet the rumours of her supposed incest with her brother, Sir Jaime Lannister. At first, Mace Tyrell appears to be interested, as hypothetically it is still a strong match in many regards, but given Cersei's age and the fact Willas is heir to Highgarden, it could pose some risks in terms of the production of heirs. Thus, Mace's mother, Olenna, convinces him and the rest of the Tyrells to refuse the offer, seeing it for the reality of what it was. During the events of A Feast for Crows in King's Landing, Lord Mace Tyrell dismisses Queen Regent Cersei Lannister's suggestion that he is needed in the Reach, saying his son Willas is able and intelligent and more than capable of acting as Lord of Highgarden in his absence. After the taking of the Shield Islands by Euron Greyjoy and the Ironborn, Willas reportedly sends messengers to Lord Leyden Hightower, ordering him to strengthen his defences at Old Town. He also correctly guesses that the Ironborn did not follow the coast when attacking the Shield Islands, in order to take the Lords of the Shield Islands off guard. However, Queen Cersei dismisses his reports, preferring to believe he was incompetent and making excuses for his failures. Cersei also refuses to send the Red Wine fleet to transport the army Willas is raising until the siege of Dragonstone is won. During the events of A Dance with Dragons in King's Landing, at the meeting of King Tommen Baratheon's small council, Mace Tyrell is confident that once Paxton Red Wine's fleet sweep the Iron Men from the seas, his son Willas and Garland will easily retake the Shield Islands. When Mace says a better marriage match should be made for Princess Myrcella Baratheon than Trystane Martell, Tommen's regent Kevin Lannister thinks that Mace is planning to try and marry Willas to Myrcella, and until we see The Winds of Winter, that is all we currently know of Willas Tyrell. Willas is an interesting character, namely as we never actually get to see him in person. Rather, we only ever hear of what others think of him and say about him. But using that information, we can piece together a lot about his character. And in all, he seems a very interesting man, a good, strong future lord, and is the perfect glimmer of hope Sansa needed before once again being crushed when she is married to Tyrion Lannister rather than Willas. He is also used as a tool by Olenna Tyrell to play political chess with Tywin Lannister, each trying to outmaneuver the other, and it really shows the readers House Tyrell could be a threat to Tywin and his plans and the future of House Lannister. As to why Willas was cut, well, I do think it is a shame we never hear of him in the show. With him never physically appearing in the books, it makes him a very easily cuttable character by the showrunners when trying to reduce the number of characters in the world. Thus why much of his role in Olenna's plot to marry him to Sansa, then Tywin's own attempt to marry Cersei to Willas, are given to Loras Tyrell in the show, a character who has a much more active role in the story. While in many regards as to why Willas was not included in the show, it does sort of make sense from a practical point of view, but it doesn't take away from the issues the Tyrell storyline was played with during later seasons of Game of Thrones. In fact, I'm very interested to see where things will be heading in The Winds of Winter, in King's Landing, in terms of the Tyrells, and learning just how much of what the showrunners did past Season 5 was truly based off George R.R. Martin's currently unpublished material.